Arjun, chup karo, boys don't cry. I've heard so many moms saying this to their sons. They actually want their sons to be strong, but then they are saying this particular sentence. I started reading a lot about this from the neuroscience perspective. And let me tell you, researchers have found that this is not a debate in the modern and the traditional sense. This is a consistent, documented, measurable pattern of harm. Boys who are taught not to feel don't become stronger. They often become men who are cut off from themselves. And what are the consequences? Consequences are in their mental health, in their relationships, their ability to be present for their own children one day. And this is for real. Now, this is not about being soft. This is about what the brain of this child needs to grow into a whole human being. Hi parents, my name is Ankita Chandak. I'm a Montessori expert, a positive parenting and neuroscience coach. Child development science for real Indian families is what we do on this channel. There's a new video that drops every week, so don't forget to hit the subscribe button. When we say boys don't cry, what are we actually teaching? We think we are teaching strength, resilience, toughness. Let's understand what the brain actually hears, right? The brain thinks emotions are not thoughts, they're physical events. When Arjun feels something overwhelming, the emotion is already in his body before his conscious brain can do anything about it. When he cries, his nervous system is doing exactly what it should: release the stress hormones, signaling this is too much, reaching for connection. So when we say don't cry, we don't remove just the emotion, we block the exit. The stress hormones stay, the overwhelmed big feelings stay. What changes is Arjun learns to hide it. And children who learn to hide emotions don't become emotionally strong. They become emotionally distant, unreachable, and unavailable, first to themselves and then to everyone who loves them and who they love. And this is heartbreaking. Research has shown what happens to these boys long term. And let's also understand what the Indian context adds to this and exactly what to say. So let's understand more about this, and this is exactly what we're doing in today's video. Let's understand what happens to these boys. All right. Research shows that men who are taught to suppress emotions in their childhood, not allowed to cry, they actually have higher rates of anxiety, aggression, relationship breakdown. Not slightly higher, but a lot higher, significantly higher. The mechanism is simple. When you cannot name a feeling, you cannot regulate it. When you cannot regulate it, it doesn't disappear. It comes out in another way, from the side, from the top, as anger, as withdrawal, as emotional unavailability to be present with the people who love you. So they grow up with an inability to identify and describe their own emotions, and it affects more men than women. And it almost always starts in childhood. Don't cry, you're fine. Stop being so sensitive. This is not a toughness training, This is training for a child to hide their emotions. There's a Harvard researcher who spent years studying what he calls the boy code, the unspoken rules about what boys are allowed to feel. And he found that boys are not naturally emotionally closed. They are trained to be. And the most painful part is many fathers who try this with their sons had it enforced on them through their fathers. They learned that love looks like toughness and they pass it on. They genuinely believe this is the right thing to do and it is protection. But it is a very painful cycle. A father just wants for his son to be okay. And the very way he shows that love is making his son less okay. So let's stop here for a second. I want to ask you something directly. Do you remember the first time someone told you not to cry? How old were you? Who said it? And what did you do with that feeling that was trying to come out? I'm asking this because this conversation is never just about our children, right? It's about us too, about the feelings we learn to swallow, to suppress, the ones we are still somehow carrying with us. Because sometimes the hardest part of parenting differently is realizing how much we needed someone to parent us differently too. And that's not weakness, that's awareness. And that awareness is where change starts. So let's understand the framework for this, okay? E, empathize first before anything, right? So when Arjun falls off his bike and cries, don't fix it, don't minimize it, don't move forward, don't brush it under the carpet. Just go to him, get to his level and say, ouch, that really hurt, didn't it? I can see you're in pain. That's it. Nothing more yet. You're just going to be there witnessing, and in that witnessing, you're teaching your child that his inner world is real, it matters, and it doesn't have to be hidden to be loved. The next one, A, allow the feeling. Now, let me tell you what happens if you just allow the feeling for 60 to 90 seconds. If you can just stay with Arjun for 90 seconds without fixing, without brushing it away, without stopping, it will move through him. So what do you say? I'm right here. Take your time. And sometimes I'm telling you, silence is enough. Your presence, that's all the child needs. And finally, S, support. Support him towards what he needs. Now, after his feeling has been seen, it's allowed, then you can ask, what do you need right now? Do you need a hug? Should we look at your knee together? Now, you're teaching this child that needing something is not weakness, it's information. It's self-awareness and knowledge. When families say otherwise, okay, when our grandparents are saying in front of you, boys don't cry, don't start a fight, you only need one sentence. In our family, everyone is allowed to feel everything, and that's what makes us strong. There's no attack, there's no argument. Arjun hears something far more important than any phrase, that his father, his mother is willing to say that out loud. It really matters to a child that a parent is willing to say that out loud. Now, imagine the same child at 35. Let's say he's in a hard situation in life. Something has broken. Maybe a relationship, maybe a job, maybe a dream. Now, this child is overwhelmed. So what do you want for this child in that moment? Do you want your child to just be alone, struggling with that feeling, knowing that he's feeling something, but he doesn't really know how to name it, he cannot reach out to anyone for it? Or do you want your child to be able to say it to his friend, to his partner, to himself, that I'm struggling, I need help? That sentence, that ability to reach is not something that the child will automatically do at 35. You have to build this at 5, 6, 7. So every time you stay with the tears instead of stopping them, every time you say, I see you, you are building that man you want him to be at 35. If you want to raise a son who is genuinely strong, emotionally present, connected, capable of real love, Raise is where we do that work. And there's also a webinar. All the details are in the description. I'm going to see you next week with another video, with another topic. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. I'm going to see you soon. And remember, boys do cry.